Hey, everybody. Episode 3 of our fraction operations review. This one is about fractions times fractions or fractions of fractions. Let's start off with a little tune from our friends at Number Rock.
Found treasure on a scuba trip, so we pulled our treasure up onto the ship. Since we were so blessed by this rarity, we decided to give half of it to charity. We took the rest and split it up 3 ways. 1/3 of the rest was still a huge payday. 1/3 for me, 1/2 for charity. So what's my share? Let's multiply and see. When we need to multiply 2 fractions, this is our reaction. Multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators. My friend and I were digging for dinosaur bones. We decided to search in a rectangular zone. We split it equally between the 2 of us. The first day I found a bone from a brontosaurus. I found a few more by the end of day 2, when 3/8 of my half had been searched through. Of my half, I had explored 3/8. How much of the entire space did I excavate? When we need to multiply 2 fractions, this is our reaction. Multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators. When we need to multiply 2 fractions, this is our reaction. Multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators.
Okay. What'd you think of that? Doesn't seem too hard, huh? Multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators. Now let's go see what our friend Rob from Math Antics has to say about this.
You've probably noticed that we've been talking an awful lot about fractions around here lately. Well, now I'm going to tell you something you can do with fractions that's really easy. No, not juggling fractions. Although that is pretty easy for me. I'm talking about something even easier than that. I'm talking about multiplying fractions. Multiplying fractions is super easy. In fact, it's easier than adding fractions, and that's why we're going to learn it first. The reason it's easier is because fractions are really just division problems, and multiplication and division get along much better than addition and division. Now, since fractions are division, that means if I have the problem 1/4 times 2/3, it's the same as the problem 1 divided by 4 times 2 divided by 3. That means I have both multiplication and division in the same problem. And
Okay. I'll do this first one with you. What operation does the fraction bar represent? Well, we know that 1 times 2 divided by 4 times 3. So the fraction bar represents the division part of the fraction. Let's see. Okay, got it.
And because they get along so well, that means I can just rearrange our problem to look like this. Now it looks like 2 multiplication problems that are being divided, and it looks just like a fraction. In fact, if we go ahead and do the multiplications, 1 times 2 equals 2, and 4 times 3 equals 12, then we do have a fraction, and it's the answer to our problem. So what does all this mean? Well, it means that to multiply fractions, all you have to do is multiply the top numbers, and then multiply the bottom numbers, and ta-da! There's your answer. As always, let's see an example or two. Let's try this problem. 2/3 times 4/5. Now we could rewrite the problem like we just saw, but that's not necessary as long as we remember the procedure. First, we know our answer is going to be a fraction, so let's go ahead and write a new fraction line for it. Next,
You know the answer to this. Okay, let's see how we did.
next, we multiply the top numbers. 2 times 4 equals 8, so 8's the top number of our answer. And last, we multiply the bottom numbers. 3 times 5 equals 15, so 15 is the bottom number of our answer. There we have it. 2/3 times 4/5 equals 8/15. See how easy that was? And fun, too. Even funner than video games. Okay, time for another example. Let's try 6/11 times 7/8. From our multiple...
What do you think? 6 times 7, 42. 11 times 8, 88. Oh, there it is. You got it.
From our multiplication table, we know that 6 times 7 equals 42. So 42 is the top number of our answer. And on the bottom, we have 11 times 8, which is 88. So 6/11 times 7/8 equals 42/88. Oh, now some of you might see that this answer could be simplified, but we'll save simplifying fractions for...
Do you know how to simplify this fraction? Well, we're just going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2 and get 21/44.
fractions for another video. All right, let's see one last example. Here it is. 1/2 times 4/3 times 3/5. Wait a minute. This has 3 fractions multiplied together, and the middle one looks like an improper fraction because its top number is bigger than its bottom number. Does our procedure work for this problem too? Yep. All we have to do is multiply all the top numbers together and then multiply all the bottom numbers together, and we'll have our answer. And this will work no matter how many fractions we have to multiply. So on the top, we have...
Yep, the procedure still works. You can do it. Okay, let's see.
We have 1 times 4 is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. And on the bottom, 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 5 is 30. That means our answer is 12/30. So there you have it. Multiplying fractions is easy because fractions are just another way of writing division problems. But remember, there's another way to think about fractions. We can also use fractions to represent parts of things, like half a pizza, for instance. But does it make sense to multiply half a pizza by another half? Actually, it does. If you're thinking of fractions as parts of something, then multiplying fractions is really like taking part of another part. For example, here's half a pizza. Now you can see that if I take 1/2 of that half, then I get 1/4 of a pizza. And if we do the multiplication, 1/2 times 1/2, you see that we do get 1/4. So that's why you can think of multiplying fractions as taking part of another part. In fact, sometimes, especially in word or story problems, you'll see multiplying fractions written using the word of instead of times. They may ask, what's 3/4 of 2/3? And now you know they just mean, what's 3/4 times 2/3?
Ready? Okay.
So,
Yep, we can simplify this fraction by multiplying the top and the bottom by the same number. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 6/12 simplified is 1/2.
So, whether you think of fractions as parts of something or as division problems, the procedure for doing the multiplication is exactly the same. Let's do a quick review of what we've learned. Multiplying fractions is even easier than adding fractions. It's easy because order of operations says that we can do the multiplication before the division. The procedure for multiplying fractions is to multiply the top numbers to get the answer's top number and multiply the bottom numbers to get the answer's bottom number. If you think of fractions as parts of something, then multiplying a fraction by another fraction is the same as taking a part of a part. And sometimes, especially in word problems, you might see the word of instead of the word times. Even though multiplying fractions is so easy, it's a good idea to practice. So be sure to do the exercises, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, there you have it. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, fifth graders. Yep, you know what to do.
This is our reaction. Multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators.